hustle, got market. Got market.
What's going on, guys? It's your favorite Mortgage lender, Abdel Khawatmi, Got Mortgages. We are about to have with us in the studio our good friend Albie Delgado, also known as the Solar Guy. Albie has grown exponentially in the field of energy with a company called Think Energy. He is now the director for that organization, grew very quickly in a very short time frame, which is awesome to hear. He also does residential solar with a company called SunnyMac Solar. I think you guys are going to be super excited to hear how one successful person can go from a successful career in mortgages, door-to-door sales, then shifting that focus into the world of energy. Super, super powerful. And he mentions a powerful thing is he noticed that phone, energy, and things along that nature was something that humans were always going to need. You guys are going to enjoy this episode, and this is another episode of the Got Mortgages podcast. Let's go. What's going on, guys? It's your favorite mortgage lender, Abdel Khawatmi, Got Mortgages, and we have got a very special guest here with us today, Mr. Albie Delgado. Albie, what's up, buddy?
Hello there. How are you?
Good, man. Thank God. How's your year coming along so far?
Things are going well. A lot of interesting things going on in the world of electricity.
So excited to dive right into it. So before we do, you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, Albie Delgado. I do a couple different things. My focus today is going to be on energy. With the company I'm with is Think Energy, and we help families save money on a bill they have to pay every single month.
I love that. So you mentioned 2 seconds ago, energy, electricity,
Yes,
solar. I think it was, we're here in the state of New Jersey, for those of you guys watching. Jersey costs of living, just like all of us, has gone up, but specifically on the electricity side. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Before we go into that, though, tell me, obviously, the saying I always say is nobody in second grade woke up and said that they want to be in mortgages or probably work in solar to an extent. How did you get into the world of electricity and solar and all that stuff?
That's a great question. I've been in sales for 30 years. I've actually done mortgages up until 2008. I think we know what happened there.
Yeah.
And I always liked the consumer market. It was pretty simple and easy to explain to people. And again, the best thing I like about it is everybody has a bill. Everyone has to pay it.
Yep.
So the good thing is we're helping consumers and we're not charging them anything. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, just being around in sales and just connecting with the right people, and just one thing led to another, and I wound up in this business.
I love it. So what did you go to school for?
Well, I didn't go to college. I went to high school, and I liked computers in the beginning.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. I graduated in 1990, so.
Now, did you dive into solar?
No, I dived into sales first.
Sales.
Yeah.
So you mentioned mortgages.
Yes.
Right. Mortgages, sales. What did you do before solar?
My God, I did so many different things. I worked at Comcast.
Okay.
I did B2B sales. I worked at Optimum. I did outside door-to-door sales. That was another interesting one. Again, people have an electric bill. I'm sorry, they have a cable bill, they have an internet bill, and a phone bill. So it was easy to put the three together. Hey, I have these services. I think I can talk about these services. So it was pretty easy. If it makes sense, I'm like, okay, I think I can do this. And just ran with it.
And it's funny, right? And there was a lead up to this, right? Is because, solar sales, energy sales, all that stuff, right? People say, man, I wish I got into this when I was younger. Right?
Yes.
I know I say that all the time in my mortgage world. And it's funny but we sometimes forget that experience you had in Comcast, that door-to-door sales, that experience that you had in the prior B2B relationship is where now your average audience is either a homeowner or a large association or anything like that. Right? Like we just wrapped up our Elevated Alliance.
Yes.
And you were highlighted as one of the top businesses that are in our group from a high exposure perspective. And I guarantee you, if I know you, you probably didn't even know.
I didn't know. Not at all.
Which is awesome. So those of you out there who are sitting there thinking about your business and thinking about all that stuff, and really spending so much time in the weeds rather than being out and about,
Yep.
right? Which we're gonna get into. Remember, there's no one right way to be successful in business, but you better damn well make sure that you are not just targeting online exposure. You're able to be accessible in person, right?
Yes.
We're both a part of BNI,
Yes.
right? And anytime anybody has even uttered the words solar, that niche, everybody's always mentioning Albie, 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 Albie. So dialing app before, right? When it comes to electricity, right? How did you get into it in the first place?
Well, I worked at Optimum, and I had again made good connections with the coworkers, and just stayed in touch over the years. And then all of a sudden, one of them reached out to me. Hey, I'm in solar. And the first question I had is, what is solar? I don't really know. I think I see them and
Yeah.
don't really understand it. But it took me a while before I decided to get into it. And I'm like, you know what? I like this. It makes sense. There's definitely a need. So it was something I know I could definitely wrap my hands around.
I love it. And then I know you've recently made a huge addition to your business, right? Of solar into Think Energy,
Yes.
which you're proudly representing,
Yes.
as you should. Talk to me about that dynamic shift from
Okay.
when you and I first spoke about
Yes.
it. And I was like, yo, I've heard of this thing. Our buddy, shout out to Carlo and his team,
Call of Vitali.
right?
Yes.
Introduced us and all that stuff. And then I was like, yo, you should come by and check this thing out. And you clearly ran with it
Yeah.
and then some and made it like your own domain.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. How's that going? How's all the...
I jumped in, and God knows why I know this date. April 4th is when I went to Carlo's office and signed up to do it. And it was great for me because what happens is, in the world of residential solar, which is, my main thing, is that the problem is you can't help everybody. You're coming across people that live in houses that have either too many trees, too many dormers, or the wife doesn't want panels on the house, or, hey, I'm moving in 2 years. I don't want to get into a long-term commitment. So Think Energy fit perfectly with that situation to say, hey, look, now I have a solution that can fit those gaps. So if I have somebody says, hey, I can't get solar because I live in a condo, or I can't get solar because I live in an apartment, or I rent. Well, now I have options that I didn't have before that I have now, and Think Energy has been phenomenal. It's been wonderful, and I've had a lot of fun with it, and we're just at the beginning with this.
So if I'm a client out there, right? Or let me phrase this question this way. What is your ideal client?
Well, New Jersey resident. For solar, it's homeowners that they see the need. Hey, you know what? My electric bill keeps climbing. I'm trying to find a way to save money. Maybe I have an electric car. Maybe I have a swimming pool. I have a hot tub. I have 4 people, 5, 6 people live in the house, and they're looking
Did you
for.
just run down the list of everything that I have? Hot tub, check. Pool, check.
Yes.
4 people in the house, check.
Yeah.
Literally.
So, and again, the biggest thing is that everybody's electric bill is going up, and it's been going up. And you and I talk a lot about AI and the power of it. And for me, it's like, well, AI eats a tremendous amount of electricity. A lot of people don't know that. And these data centers are popping up everywhere. So when you see these challenges, it presents opportunity to say, look, you don't necessarily have to be a homeowner for me to help you. That there's, again, they think energy is like my plan B. So if you don't fit in the solar bucket, you can definitely, no doubt, fit in the Think Energy bucket.
And I think this part a lot of people don't know is you don't need to have space on the roof.
That's correct.
Right. You don't need to put panels on the roof, right? You're essentially plugging into, let's call it a virtual thing to the consumer.
Yes.
Which is a solar farm and all that good stuff, right? But to a client, it doesn't cost them anything, you said, right?
No, there's no cost.
So there's no cost to the client. I literally have to, what do I have to do?
Well, there's a couple, Abdel, there's a couple things that we're talking about here. So the first one is community solar. So community solar is a state-sponsored program. It was launched by the governor back in 2023. So basically what happens is your utility company is actually buying electricity from the solar farms. And then for you to sign up for the program, you're actually helping the state meet their mandate. So it's a 20% discount. It's for 20 years. And again, there's nothing to be installed, which is the biggest challenge. Like, oh, I don't want solar. Okay, well, this is not solar. This is community solar. So it's about education, educating the consumers about what this option is for them.
So no solar panels needed to be added on
That's
top.
correct for the
right?
community solar program.
Really no cost, right?
That's correct.
To that person. Why is everybody not signing up?
Again, it's all about education because the minute they hear solar, they assume it's panels on the house. But to be clear, Think Energy is not just community solar, which is a great program, no doubt. But one of their other programs that I'm very proud of is it's called AutoSave. So if you look at your electric bill, there's something on there called a supply charge, which makes up about 60% of your bill. So what we will do is we will manage that for you every single month. Now, what happens is the way it's looked at is it's based on your usage for the month.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is every month, whichever company is cheaper, us or let's say PSE&G, as an example, is the rate you're going to pay. Now, the big difference between your traditional third-party company is that let's say you sign up for a 1-year agreement. After 1 year, you have to renew, and if you don't renew, your rate's going to go up. The great thing with AutoSave, you sign up once, you never have to renew. That's the big factor because it's called Proton technology. It's patent protected. And for me, it's available in the states I target is New Jersey, PA, and Delaware. And again, it doesn't matter if you own, it doesn't matter if you rent, nothing to install. And it's been a phenomenal program.
That's so awesome. And I think, was it June or May of last year is when the cost of energy blew?
June. For
June, right?
PSE&G last year went up 17.24%. It's looking this year about 23%.
So 38% increase in, call it, 2 years. That's
and for more good news, and I'm being very sarcastic when I say this, the next 2 years we're projected to have a minimum of 20% rate increases the next 2 years.
It's wild. Yeah, so 40% increase. So so when a consumer goes on the AutoSave side, they're basically locked in at that with no rate
the way
increases.
AutoSave works is, like say, we monitor their usage every month. And the way it works is if we can save you money, we guarantee up to 10%. And if for some reason we can't save you money, which is very rare, we just put you right back with the utility, but you're still with the same utility company.
Anyway.
Yes.
Understood.
So again, this is for a bill you have to pay no matter what happens.
That's so awesome. Now, want to shift a little bit. We just talked about, obviously, you being a serial networker, as I usually call it, right? And I'm sure that was a big part of course, your success in current
Absolutely,
market.
yes. Big BNI has been a tremendous part of that.
And I think even with Think, you guys do a lot of virtual networking events and in-person networking events too.
Yes.
That I get, the notifications and the texts all the time, and the calls and all that fun stuff. And I love the consistency behind it. So networking from there is huge.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned, of course, BNI.
Yes.
Right? And I know you're one to wipe the leaderboard.
Well, I am number one on the
BNI.
Power One report in my chapter, the Mount Laurel Regional chapter. Yes.
You guys have an awesome presence, right? I always hear it mentioned. I know you've been there for quite some time. I know you're also one to sub.
Yes.
Right. In those chapters and stuff. How did you realize at one point, right, from going from Comcast sales to this? Because I'm sure you probably, or maybe you did, but you probably were not doing networking during Comcast sales or
very light of anything.
Totally, right? Where it's somewhat of a kind of, call it 9 to 5 to an extent, or consumer driven, right?
Yeah.
Right. B2C rather than now it's B2B. At least I would attest BNI being B2B, right?
It's a little mixed, but mostly B2C.
How did you realize, like, oh snap, this is something that, one, I'm really good at, and two, there's obviously some revenue potential behind it?
I paid attention to a lot of things. Like, I originally joined BNI back in 1998.
Wow.
Back then I was a mortgage broker, and back then I didn't do any subbing, and I just was in my chapter. We were in person every week. It was great. And then when I got out of mortgages and jumped around a little bit, like I said, I was with Optimum for a couple of years doing residential door-to-door sales. There, you just did outside sales. There was no networking. You just, foot to the pavement. But when I got back into BNI, actually, it's a funny story. Like when I got into solar back in 2021, a friend of mine, former BNI member, said, "Hey, you should come visit my chapter," which was BNI Mainline 1 at the time. Says, "We have 60 members in our chapter." I was like, "Okay." I didn't even have to look. I said 60 members, and it's BNI. And it's got a great name, and they're big. I'm gonna just let me come visit, and it joined, and it was a great turnaround. But one thing I've noticed is, you talk to people that are visiting from another chapter or a former member, And you're like, wait a minute, obviously there's a lot of things going on in BNI, and this isn't the only chapter, and they don't just do New Jersey, they don't just do PA. And you just put, 2 and 2 together, like, wait a minute. And then they talk about their events. They talk about, we have BNIDVR.com, which, by the way, is a great hub because it tells you, that's where I first started saying, hey, I'm on this website probably once a week. So looking for chapters that are in the area, chapters on the days I don't have my meeting, and just started making those connections. And now it's like I'm in probably 4 to 5 chapters a week every week.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I know you visited ours.
Rock Solid.
once.
Yeah.
Shout out to the guys at Rock Solid and the gals.
Yes.
Which is so awesome to do that. And I think I need to personally do a better job of scoping the field, for lack of better words, of other ones. But, we can only be in so many places.
True, but they only again, the one advantage I have is being in the solar world. There's not many solar people in BNI versus the mortgage guy or the realtor or the financial advisor, which those spots are snapped up quickly.
Yeah.
They're always taken quickly.
Yeah, that's so true. Now, obviously you differentiated yourself from a branding perspective.
Yes.
Right. Where like even a few moments ago, right, when we were going over your digital analysis, I think nobody in the room knew who you actually worked for.
Yes.
Whether it was Think or whether it was SunnyMac.
It's SunnyMac Solar.
SunnyMac Solar.
Yes.
Right. It was always Albie Delgado, the solar guy.
Yeah.
And I actually thought the business was called the solar guy, by the way, which was funny. How did you all of a sudden say, okay, I need to really work on branding myself and making that a difference maker, right, in my career? Because I think it really correlates all the stuff that we just talked about.
Well, I just feel that, you want to be personal about it. You want to customize it and let people know who you are, because they're looking at you. They're not necessarily looking at the company. It's who you are, what you represent, and how you carry yourself. So when somebody says, hey, why should I go to you for solar versus, these other companies? And I say, very honestly, number one, go to my website. I have great 5-star Google reviews. And number two is I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not necessarily what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. So I just try to be very direct and honest with the clients. And I tell them, sometimes we can help you. We'd love to do that. Sometimes we can help you, and we'll tell you why, and we'll try to give you, best course of action at that point.
That's awesome. And you're also very active on social media too, right?
I am a little bit.
Probably a little less recently, but that's probably because you're busy.
I am very busy. I've really taken Think by the horns. Mm-hmm. Example, I go to every live event in New Jersey. I started going to Delaware now, which is a great state. I would go to Maryland, but that's too far. Yeah. But for now, that may change in the future. We'll see. Like tonight, we have an event in Sewell, New Jersey. It's a great event. And we get, you get to meet the founders of the company. They explain all the great benefits that we have, because we have community solar, we have autosave. We now are giving discounts on smart thermostats. And then we're rolling out, in a few months, our new flagship product, which is the home battery program, which is amazing. And that's going to be a major game changer. So
that's so awesome. Well, you obviously have a love for what you do, a love for the career and stuff like that. Being that heavy networker, what do you kind of look for, right? If there's somebody out there who's looking to find that right networking group or that right stuff, how do you kind of like gauge which ones are worth your time?
To be honest, I'm very biased, because for me, the only thing I really focus on is BNI and Think Energy events. That's it. It's rare you're going to catch, like, you'll never probably see me at a Chamber of Commerce event or a Rotary. It's very rare. I will do it. I've done it from time to time, but laser focus, again, BNI has been phenomenal for me in a lot of ways, whether it's, signing up homeowners for solar or clients for Think Energy or recruiting advisors that want a real opportunity. So that's really where I stay in those two backyards for the most part.
And obviously it's worked for you,
yes,
right? With the success. You've grown very quickly in your career, right? You've got now, what's your title again there?
For Think Energy, I'm a director, and my next rank would be regional director.
Got it.
And I'm probably about 90 days away from hitting that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a powerful thing too, because I always think from an infrastructure perspective that they build out those tiers, that hierarchy, right, where
yes,
it's incentivized and comp change and stuff like that, which is so awesome. You literally ended on a point, which is really what I wanted to take us home with, is obviously you're not just looking to, you've heard me say, right, the 3 R's, recruit, retain, and revenue.
Yes.
You're not just looking to recruit clients, retain clients, and gain revenue from clients. You're also looking to recruit potential, can't even say just humans, right? People, right?
Like-minded people that
right?
are open-minded.
Like-minded people,
Yes.
right? Because I know there's been several people under your umbrella, right, that have grown very quickly, that are seeing a love for it, that have identified a network for it, and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit more. What's that ideal avatar employee that can come under your wings?
Well, for Think Energy, we're looking for, again, motivated people, whether they're in the solar world, they're real estate agents, they're mortgage people, former energy people are great. Two of my top guys, I actually have three people I'm going to give a shout out to real quick. Miriam, Daryl, and James have been phenomenal for the team. They've done a great job. I've added some new guys. I've added Will. I've added Mark. And these are just people that see the vision I see. And all I say is, look, and again, I use statistics as well, which, I know you're a big numbers guy. By 2030, they're anticipating that 25% of the jobs are going to be gone because of AI, which is reality. I have a list of like 15 companies that have laid off already or are getting ready to lay off. And this is a reality. And the other thing is, by the time someone turns 65, 95% of those people do not have enough to retire. So unless you have $2 million in a retirement account, you're going to have to keep working. So my thing is, if you can find a way to help people that doesn't cost them anything and there's great benefits for you, it's definitely something to
Sure.
take a look at.
I love it. So no college education needed, right?
No.
Just obviously come through. I know you guys host several onboarding calls and
Yeah.
What do you normally call them?
Well, we have Zoom meetings.
Zoom
We have
meetings.
trainings. I mean, what I do is I plug them in and tell them exactly what I do. I hold nothing back. I'm like, the more I can pour into you, the more it benefits both of us.
Sure.
And my thing is, if you are hungry, you're motivated, you have the will to win, and you want more out of life, because you can't put a price on time. We only have so much of it, and do you want to spend it? Do you want to spend it at work, or do you want to spend it with your family and your friends, and maybe doing good things for the community, charities, whatever. And off topic real quick, I actually raised money last year for a nonprofit, and that's another big initiative to do that as well. We raised $2,500 for an animal hospital in Voorhees,
Nice.
which was great, and I want to do that more often, just to give back, because that's what we're here for.
I appreciate it. Well, Albie, appreciate your time. Always a pleasure. Any final parting words that you have for the audience?
If you're hungry, you're motivated, you're consistent, you want to have fun and laugh a lot, let's get together and let's see if it's a good fit for you. But thank you, Abdel, for your time as usual. You're a great guy, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.